Thank you so much, Lauren. Our second presentation, also on video, is from Jacob Hinton. Jacob is a senior political science major and U.S. Army veteran. Jacob served 2 tours in Afghanistan, and Jacob is the president of the student-run Carolina Veterans Organization. And I would like to say, from having met Jacob, that he clearly models the kind of leadership skills that you develop in the military. He's been leading on campus, pressing very effectively, I think, to help us continue to enhance our services to veterans. So I know you're going to enjoy hearing from him as well.
Good morning. I'd like to thank you, Chancellor Folt and Mr. Pinckney, for inviting me here today. Good morning to all the board members for hosting me. My name is Jacob Hinton. I'm a senior political science, peace, war, and defense major here at UNC Chapel Hill. I was a U.S. Army for 5 years down at Fort Bragg in the 82nd Airborne. I did 2 combat tours to Afghanistan. Upon getting out of the Army in 2010, I started attending Wake Tech in Raleigh. I transferred here in the fall of 2013, which leads me to my position as the president of the Carolina Veterans on campus. I was brought here to talk about my experience with the military and then my transition to UNC. So my experience in the military, I was combat arms. I was a forward observer. And what that does is I was embedded with the infantry, and I called in airstrikes and mortar support for combat operations. I did 2 deployments to Afghanistan, totaling 28 months total time overseas. And when I got back, I transitioned again to Wake Tech, where I did extremely well in studying just a general track there to transfer. When I transferred here, I found myself lost. There wasn't a lot of connection with other veterans. There wasn't a lot of connection with faculty or staff members that were familiar with veterans either. The advising was kind of rough as well for academics. They didn't know how to work around the GI Bill, and that a veteran could receive 2 majors and a minor, whereas the GI Bill states 1 course track. It's kind of like a little loophole that needs to be brought to light and understood that veterans can pursue these different tracks as well. I met Brian Papasik, which is at the meeting today, and he's a wonderful, wonderful help to veterans on campus. He has developed programs to help veterans succeed and help them to connect with other veterans on campus. So he and I have been working closely to develop different programs. Again, he does the Green Zone training, which is fantastic. However, one issue I do bring up is that Brian Papasik works alone, and it's only part of his job to work with veterans. The need has risen for veterans to be heard and to veterans to be served on campus in the last 2 years. And although UNC has made great strides in this effort to bring more resources for veterans, I call upon more dialogue subsequent to this meeting to make sure that veterans are being better served. There's a few veterans I know that have failed out of Carolina because they don't have resources. This is resources such as academic advising or counseling that's specific to combat operations, etc. There's also been some financial issues within the UNC campus with veterans with their VA benefits. Now, although Jan Benjamin is a fantastic resource, it's not the only department that deals with the chain of financial aid. And again, I call on more dialogue subsequent to this meeting to handle those issues as well. I work closely with Andrew Powell. He sits on the board, and together we've come up with kind of a rough plan to how to better get veterans involved on campus to connect with one another and to connect with the community at large. So together, hopefully throughout the rest of this year, we'll be able to implement those plans. Furthermore, to further our efforts in veteran advocacy, we are trying to push for a full-time paid position to serve as a director of military and veterans affairs on campus. Essentially, this would take Mr. Papasik's job and turn it into a full-time position that would solely handle veterans affairs on campus to ensure that the needs of the veterans, both undergraduate, professional, and graduate, along with faculty and staff, are better served. Every minority group on campus has their own section and their own support staff where veterans do not. So that's one major project we are trying to work for, and we would like for more support to come from the administration. Currently, all the efforts for veteran recognition and awareness fall on either Brian Papasik or students. And this distracts from student studies at Carolina, which could essentially harm them in the long run in successfulness at Carolina. We would like to open up more dialogue after this meeting to questions and comments, and to have personal meetings with the Chancellor and the Provost, along with some Board of Trustees members to further advance these resources and initiatives on campus. Again, my name is Jacob Hinton. I really appreciate the time you've allotted me today, and I hope to speak with all of you in the future.
So you can see, as I mentioned, that Jacob is really a wonderful representative of military veterans as students, and is really working with the administration to help us further enhance the services that we provide.